Hey guys! So I promised you all a few months ago that I would do an on-camera interview with my husband about what his thoughts and feelings were about my journey with Rodan Fields. So here it is.
Hello.
This is Justin, my husband, and why don't you tell him a little bit about what you do for a living?
So for a living, my primary business, I'm a multifamily broker, which means I sell apartment complexes. Much like a realtor sells houses, I do the same thing, but with apartment complexes.
And what did you do before that?
Before that, from July, for about 5 years, I was a registered investment advisor, had a Series 7 license, worked in investments, financial planning, and insurance. Didn't love it, but it was something that I learned a lot about along the way. So it's been a great foundation for me, but something that I didn't truly love.
So you, in that role, how did you help other people with their financial decisions?
Primarily, we would sit down and ask people a lot of questions, figuring out what their financial situation was, what they wanted to accomplish in life, and then basically build a roadmap for how they could achieve those goals depending on what they wanted to do.
So they kind of entrusted you with their financial future.
Yes,
Okay.
in a sense, yeah.
In a sense, yeah. So that is exactly why when I thought about joining this business, just like I would with any business, I asked Justin to take a look at it. My knee-jerk reaction after I heard a few stories that were pretty amazing was to jump right on board, get in on this business, because what I saw was a ground floor opportunity with a company that is just now in 3 countries that wants to grow globally. So I saw a ground floor opportunity and wanted to run with it. But of course, what I did was come home and ask my husband for, $1,000 to start my own business and his blessing. And I wanted him to kind of look over it, do a Google search or something, look into Rodan Fields and see if he saw any red flags. So, do you remember that night when I came home?
Yeah, what was that, 9 or 10 months ago now?
Yeah, it was in October. Do you remember the phone call? Do you have any recollections of whenever I called you?
Honestly, no, I don't remember the specifics of it. I do remember, I remember having a level of skepticism. I knew, I've always had an overarching skepticism of multi-level marketing. Like probably a lot of people out there, I thought, well, this is just another pyramid scheme. You're going to get into this for 2 months and fall into the allure of the get rich quick scheme is what I thought. But then we sat down and I started hearing about the products and what you were talking about, the story, and then after looking into the compensation plan, I don't remember the specifics of the plan, but I remember thinking, okay, this actually seems like a legitimate business. It's not just sign up a bunch of people under me and then not do anything. There's actually a legitimate product behind the business. And so after looking into it, it didn't take a lot of time. One, seeing her passion, and two, just seeing what the company was about. To me, I still knew it would be hard work. It wasn't going to be a get rich quick scheme, but I also knew you were driven, so I was 100% on board.
Yeah, that was one thing that really I love about him, is that he was completely supportive in just right away in this business that he didn't really know a whole lot about. But he did look over the compensation plan, and he gave me his blessing really quickly, and that gave me a lot of confidence in it as well, so that I didn't have to go poring over a whole bunch of stuff online to find out for myself. I just trusted his knowledge in that. Okay, so now that I'm 9 or 10 months into this business, what is your perspective of my journey with this business? Are you surprised at all with where I am now? Have I met your expectations? Kind of tell me a little bit about that.
Okay. Wow, how do you answer that? So, am I surprised? The first question. Yes and no. I knew that it was going to be a tough business. I know that there are people that make it big quickly in businesses like this, but I know that's not the norm. but I know that there are plenty of people who do well in these businesses if they put in hard work and time. I knew you would put in the hard work and the time. I just didn't know if your expectations were what the timeline of your expectations were. So I think it's a yes and no question. You've worked phenomenally at this. I think, I know you spend the bulk of your time being a mom to shepherd. And so this is definitely, it's not a full-time job for you by any means, but I do know you put good effort into it. You're building relationships, and I think probably, yes, from the business standpoint, you've done very well. You've started making more money, and I know you've hit a lot of financial goals that you wanted to hit. But just being your husband and kind of seeing from the outside looking in, it's been nothing short of phenomenal to see the change that has happened in your life, just on a personal level. And I could go into a whole litany of reasons why that has been impressive, but I don't think that's what you're looking for here. But it's been,
Actually, yeah, kind of go into that a little bit, like I think you're kind of talking about the personal growth side of things.
Yeah.
I think that's something that people don't come into this knowing, so it would be cool to hear your perspective.
Okay. Well, yeah, I don't know who all would join a business like this just for the personal growth aspect, but what I can tell you from seeing Shelby, it's unbelievable. It really is. It's had a huge impact on my life. It's made me much more conscientious and intentional about me needing to reach out, and that's been one of the coolest things watching her do this. Is just the business aspect aside and the financial implications aside, she's become much more outgoing, outreaching, fostering relationships with no expectation of any outcome other than it has made her realize how important relationships are and how important it is to reach out to other people rather than waiting for people to reach out to her. And she and I have both been guilty of, quite frankly, we enjoy each other a lot, and it's easy for us to fall into this trap for lack of a better word, of just spending time with ourselves because we really enjoy each other. And so it's just been really cool to see her building all these relationships, and plenty of relationships that I have no idea if they'll ever turn into any kind of business relationship with Rodan Fields. But just from purely the personal side, she's fostered some really great friendships, and it's been really cool to see. So
yeah, I'm glad that you touched on that, because that's kind of one of the unexpected side effects of this business for me. Was, it kind of started off, as I said, wow, this is a ground floor opportunity with a company that is going global. I can do this. And then pretty quickly after that, I thought, well, I'm going to have to shed my pride to do this, because I'm going to have to get on social media and be, that girl who is selling something on Facebook. But guys, social media is the perfect platform for this. It is the wave of the future. We're actually not a direct sales business. I actually like to refer to us as a social commerce business, because we're doing so much more than direct sales. And so, I knew that I was going to have to step outside of my comfort zone in that aspect, but I didn't realize how many other levels I was going to have to be pushed outside of my comfort zone. It really shone a light on my lack of effort in relationships. So I apologize here on a public platform for that. This has been really eye-opening for me, and it's making me better in a lot of ways, and I really appreciate what you had to say about that, your perspective on that, and that it inspired you, I think is, wow, one of my favorite things that I've heard as a result of me joining this business. So I have one more question for you. Why don't you think more men are getting in on this type of business, a direct sales, social commerce, multi-level marketing? And you don't have to speak for all men, just speak for yourself. Why would you ever do something like this? Will you join my team?
Never say never.
That's good.
I don't plan on it.
We'll see.
You're good at what you do. You've been very convincing, so maybe. Skincare, as you know, when I take a shower, shampoo is my entire body wash. I don't wash my face. I never have, other than for a period of time when Shelby's parents got me some skincare, and I quite honestly, I loved it. It felt better to have a routine, but it's just not part of what I do. And so to me, skincare is not something that I've had to worry about. And so to me, it's not a passion of mine. And I mean, does skincare have to be a passion of yours to do well in this business? Probably not. Plenty of people do great in an environment where there are sales taking place and they don't necessarily have to love or have a passion for what they're doing. There's plenty of great people in that environment.
So take skincare out of the equation. There's a lack of men in this type of industry. Do you have any reason, do you think that maybe you attributed that to what you said at the beginning, like kind of where you have a stigma in your mind about multi-level marketing and direct sales, or have you ever even just really thought about it?
If you'd asked me that question 9 months ago, I would say the multi-level marketing aspect, because I did have a stigma in my mind about it. After seeing how this has operated and seeing what's gone on through the lens of you, no, it's not the multi-level marketing aspect. Skincare generally is a feminine product.
Okay.
I think that's the easiest answer.
Okay, I can take that. I mean, there's obviously a reason for it. There's mostly women in this industry, and I think, yeah, maybe we spend a little more time on our face.
To be fair, let me interrupt though. To be fair, Shelby has given me, I don't know, a couple of facials with the active hydration serum, is that what it was called? And a few phases of
The Redefine. Yeah.
I knew it was something. I won't lie, that was incredibly refreshing. And if she would do that for me every night, then sure, why not? I don't know if I'm going to take the time to do it myself, but if you kept doing that, yeah, that might get me into the business.
Okay, all right, yeah. This interview alone has shown me that I've done a poor job in forcing my husband to use these products. I need to be getting him to use them more so that he can get into a routine, you know. Forcing you. Yeah. Doing it for him. So one thing that's been interesting is finding out that we have some similarities in our jobs. You with commercial real estate and me with Rodan Fields. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so I don't know, we had this conversation a few months ago, and you know, I was looking at how Shelby's business was going, because that's, you know, there's two facets to it essentially. On the one side, she is not only using products but selling products to people, and on the other side of that coin, she's building up a team of people to work with her to do the same thing. And so I think, you know, one of the things she was experiencing is that she wasn't seeing an instant growth of her team the way that she had hoped would happen, and which does happen for some people. And you hear these stories of the people that are making an unbelievable amount of money in a very short period of time, and it just takes off instantaneously. And there are people that have that, and a lot of that happens with the rapid growth of a team, because obviously as your team is larger, it's selling more product and there's more money coming in. So I was just trying to encourage her, and also realizing at the same time that we both have, you know, similar experiences in that growing a business, whether it's Rodan Fields or selling apartments or whatever, you might get lucky, and all the pieces might fall into place at the right time, but in general, it's going to take a dedicated effort over a long period of time, and to not get discouraged and to keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah. And
that's what I've seen you do, and that's why you're seeing success now, and your team is growing, and you've got a lot of great customers, and I know I hear about all of you, so I have a pretty good idea of what's going on, and it's one of those things that, you know, my business partners that I came into the business with encouraged me, just keep going, don't get discouraged, you know, keep your goals big, keep your dreams big, and keep working towards them. But you know, I mean,
have that long-term vision.
Yeah, exactly. And with the understanding that, you know, Shelby's a full-time mom still, and so you're only doing this, I mean, it's not a full-time job for you, so
not at all.
Depending on, every person's story is different, but still you've been able to achieve some great goals with a pretty minimal amount of time.
Yeah, we were just talking about what I kind of looked at what I've made over the last 9 months, and I told him this morning, I was like, hey, look, this is how much I've made over the last 9 months, and he was like, wow, you know, that's X amount of dollars.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's something that we wouldn't have had otherwise, and it's been fun for me, it's been fulfilling for me, it's given me a sense of purpose, and it's been a fun challenge for me. It's obviously developed me, as we talked about as well. So, I mean, really, don't have anything to lose except, that money you're not going to see and maybe a few wrinkles, right? All right. Well, those are all the questions that I can come up with for now, and I think that shows a fun perspective, seeing a male perspective and a spouse's perspective on someone who was kind of joining a company like this on a whim. It turned out to be so much more than either of us expected, and I'm only 9 months in. So thank you for your support, as always, and for the kind words you just said here. And you guys can just look forward to seeing him again soon when he joins my team, and I announce that on a video.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.